Brought to you by GTA. We start with you.
Leah Metra tells KUAM's Containing COVID a death in the family on Guam meant she had to move quickly to get her son back to the island. So she had her son meet up with her brother-in-law in Los Angeles to get the necessary COVID-19 tests needed to fly home and clear quarantine.
If it's negative, that means you're good, and you get this document that says you're negative. And we're trying to get things to move quickly because my mother-in-law passed away on May 3rd, and we just needed them back as soon as possible.
Since the governor's executive order on quarantine rules didn't specify what type of COVID test returning homebound travelers would need to be exempted from quarantine, Metra says her son and her niao landed on Guam uncertain of what the future would hold for them.
When they arrived at the airport, there are two screening areas they went through. The first guy that spoke to them at the first station looked at their documents. He said, "Oh, you guys should be okay. This should be fine. Go over to the second station." When they evaluated their documents there, they kind of were unsure. They're like, "Well, we're not sure if this is going to be acceptable. Public health is closed right now. We won't know till tomorrow. Therefore, you have to go to the quarantine hotel."
The next day, GovGuam officials telling Metra's son and brother-in-law they won't be getting a Get Out of Pacific Star free card. Instead, what they are getting, 14 days in a GovGuam quarantine hotel. And while their COVID test results were negative, they were positively using a test that GovGuam doesn't recognize as valid.
We are not accepting the antibody blood test as documentation. We want the nasal swab test.
Metra said she knew about GovGuam quarantine rules from media reports. In fact, she even heard GITA director Melanie Mendiola was able to skip quarantine altogether because of one rule that also applied to Metra's family.
One of them said, "There's a death in the family, so you can attend the funeral." So I brought that up to her.
When Metra said her, she meant self-proclaimed quarantine soldier Rebecca Respicio. Respicio in charge of the Pacific Star Quarantine Hotel.
She said, "Well, when is the funeral?" I said, "It's on May 29th. And she said, "Well, then, there's plenty of time for them to finish the quarantine and still attend the funeral."
Metra also questioning why the governor's former chief of staff, Tony Babauta, was allowed to leave Pac Star quarantine after sleeping over and not feeling well. Babauta was released without taking a COVID-19 test, while Metra argues her son and niao had tests with negative results and they're still in quarantine. Metra telling KUAM she can't stand the double standard. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Brought to you by GTA. We start with you.